And we are live. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Let's Talk Fishing video version. My name is James. I'm going to be your podcaster for this evening. And tonight I have a guy who's been on several times, become a really good friend of the Let's Talk Fishing podcast. And, he's from one of the coolest states I can think of. I mean, Michigan is surrounded by the Great Lakes, and the Great Lakes are just, man, I'm going to sound like an 80s guy here because that's what I am. It's so freaking cool.
It is. We live in a wonderful place.
You do, man. I have none other than Shawn Sparr. I mean, the only way I can describe him, he's just a multi-species fishing fanatic. Is that a good way to describe you, Shawn?
Absolutely.
Man after my own heart, man. I mean, people ask, what's your favorite fish to fish for? Man, whatever biting right now.
Yeah, that's it.
And doesn't that pretty much sum up Michigan? You go from this to that, this bite to that bite to that bite, and you just follow the bites around all year.
All year long. There's always fishing.
Okay, I'd like to make a couple announcements here. Number one, Grant Rods, GRANDT rods.com. Grant Rods, best rods in the world. I'll say that to anybody. They're going to be at the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit in Novi, Michigan from January 9th to the 12th of 2025. And man, I know Shawn's been to that several times, but this year they're going to have Kevin Van Dam, Mark Zona, Mark Romanek, and Mark Martin. That is an all-star Michigan cast right there. I can't think of a better cast. Those are some serious dudes.
They are. Yep, they are.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah,
Kevin Van Dam, I mean, I don't even need to tell you who he is, but Mark Zona, one of the greatest television hosts ever.
Yeah.
Mark Zona is just cool. Mark Romanek, the Trolling Bible. What's that? I can't even think of Precision Trolling is the name of the book. And man, I have worn out probably 15 copies of that. Now it's an app, but Mark Martin was the original champion. He won the first ever professional walleye trail tournament. And I've met Mark. Actually, I've met all four of those guys.
Right.
Mark Martin, he's done so much, and he's so humble. What a great group of guys. Anyways, guys, go to the Ultimate Fishing Show. Go to the Grant Rods booth. Tell them Jay sent you. They all know me, particularly Jim Grant. Just actually put a Grant rod in your hands. You'll see what I'm talking about. You have any Grant rods?
I do not.
But you have a bunch of razors.
I do have a bunch of razors.
And razors is actually made by Grant, so.
Okay.
It's uncompromising quality.
Right.
And when you're jigging into the Detroit River in that heavy current, you need a good rod.
Yeah.
That's not going to break when you go.
Right.
Oops, I'm snagged.
Yeah.
Oops! And whoa! It's a sturgeon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Speaking of that, Jeff Quinn said hogs.
Yeah.
You know Jeff Quinn?
Yeah, Jeff's a good guy, good buddy of mine.
Thank you for checking in, Jeff. Appreciate you. So speaking of that, what are you fishing for now, Shawn?
Well, right now it's ice time, so we're gonna start fishing for crappies right off the bat. Crappies, bluegill, perch, and you can get walleyes over on Saginaw Bay. You can get there's so many. Like you said, I could go drill a hole or cut a hole out and go spear pike if I want on Lake St. Clair, or I can go back. I could literally bass fish. I can go target bass under the ice just to have fun.
Yeah.
I can go fish whatever I want. It's this time of year, but mainly in the winter. I love to I just love to crappie fish, and the sunfish and bluegills come along with those. And then I like to go after the perch. You're allowed 25 of each species, so 25 panfish, or I should say crappies and gills, and sunfish are all one category. Then you can get 25 perch on top of it. So,
wow, 20 yellow perch those are without a doubt my favorite freshwater fish to eat.
Yeah, it's like eating a baby walleye.
If you can get yellow perch through the ice, oh my goodness, and eat them that night. Ooh.
Yeah, they're excellent.
I had my first wife when we were first married. I was living on Selfridge Air National Guard Base, and there was a hole in the fence, and we would just walk through that hole and walk right out onto the ice, so right across the street from the apartment I was living in. and we could just walk right out there 15 feet from the rocks of Shell Selfridge and catch yellow perch.
Yeah, you still can.
That's, the guys are like, yeah, man, we just fish right here. I'm like, what do you mean you just fish right here? I've been fishing my whole life. No, you got to walk 3 miles that way.
Yeah.
They're like, you go right ahead.
A lot of people pass up fish. A lot of people pass up a lot of good fishing.
And if you watch what the boat guys do, they cast it ashore.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know if I'd cast it ashore when I'm perch fishing, but
I'll probably not get snagged up.
it's been so many years since I caught a yellow perch. That's pathetic.
After the thousands you probably caught when you were here,
Oh yeah, man. You just come home with a 5-gallon bucket full.
Yeah.
The funniest story that happened when I was at Selfridge, there were a couple guys from Kentucky and they thought they were real hot shit. Fishermen.
Yeah.
And they went out, they rented a boat and they went out fishing one time and they came back with a whole cooler full of smallmouth bass. And I was like, sick.
Yeah, what the heck?
You don't eat those. And they said, well, look, you don't catch these things. I said, you know why I haven't brought any back? He said, why? Because the season doesn't open up for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That deflated them a little bit. How you doing tonight? Okay. Cajun Rob's checked in. He asked you how the ice fishing was. I think you just told him. Steve Kaiser checked in. And Gary Bourne. Oh, something else I want to tell you guys. Responsible Anglers United. Look that up on Facebook, guys. Responsible Anglers United. They are going to be actually Tyler Yvette, that's Bassmaster Elite Series angler. Tyler Yvette is going to be donating a fishing trip on Lake St. Clair, speaking of Shawn Sparr, for smallmouth bass right after the Elite Series event. So he's going to fish Lake St. Clair for about 6 days straight. Then he's going to come and take the winner of the raffle. He's raffling off a fishing trip with him.
So he's going to pick
$20 a chance, just like we were talking. It's the guy who buys one who's going to win this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the thing about this is, guys, airfare is included.
Wow.
So they're going to fly you to Detroit. He's going to pick you up. He's going to take you fishing. Then he's going to take you back to your hotel for $20. Man, $20. So, and also all the funds from this are going to go straight to Responsible Anglers United. And Responsible Anglers United is going to restock Southern Louisiana with largemouth bass.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm all about this. If the DNR won't do it for us, we'll do it for ourselves.
Absolutely.
So there.
Yeah.
And what this is doing is it's showing the rest of the nation that, we can do this, guys, but we have to stick together. And that's what we're doing. Hey, Rick, nice to see you here, man. Rick Bailey, fantastic speckled trout fisherman, a speckled trouter. Shawn, if you live down here, you'd be fishing for speckled trout.
Yep, I bet you I will.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yep.
I can hear,
Shawn, if you live down here, you'd be fishing for speckled trout.
Yeah. I'd fish for whatever was available for me to fish for.
Speckled trout are just so cool. The first time I hooked into a big one and he started shaking that head just like a walleye, just
yeah.
Boom, boom, boom,
head thrashers.
I got goosebumps. I love it. Yeah. The you're right, Gary. He's going to be covering the cost for the airfare. But you do have to buy your own fishing license. But they're going to fly you up there, man, for $20. So go to Responsible Anglers United on Facebook. There are links to where you can buy your. Actually, we're also going to have an event, just like a Pheasants Forever or Ducks Unlimited event, where you can buy just about everything you could possibly imagine that's outdoors related.
And Lake St. Clair is world's finest smallmouth fishery there is.
Oh man.
I mean, big smallmouth bass, big bass.
They told me,
but big smallmouth.
They told me it's even gotten better. When I was there back in I don't even want to tell you, 1990 and 1991.
Right.
And The lake is cleaned up since then because of the zebra mussels,
Yes,
and it's gotten nothing but better.
it definitely. There's a lot of structure still. There's a lot of like the old shipwrecks, the places like the dumping grounds they call it, and rock piles. There's so many different spots. Anywhere you go along Lake St. Clair, any dock spile, any structure at all, a wall edge, uh, any type of structure at all, current break, anything, there's going to be smallmouth sat in there, guaranteed.
Jeez.
Guaranteed.
And what's your favorite way to target smallmouths there in St. Clair?
I love casting spinner baits. I do really well on spinner baits. The nickel spinner baits work really well.
Nickel. I guess this is a copper.
Yeah, they're good too. That's a good color too.
Oh, this is my favorite, man. You can see. In fact, I think I have one of your favorite rods here. Yeah, nah, it's somewhere. It's in my mess of 25 different rods. No, whatever. I have a Zako on. Oh, no, okay. My Zako fell off.
The fishery's huge here too.
This is my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah. So you're a spinnerbait fisherman. I love fishing spinnerbaits.
This is a chatterbait right here.
Chatterbait, yep.
You know, when it's windy, this is the ticket right here.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah, it is a chatterbait. Yeah. Yeah, you can cast a lot farther with them.
And you know, it doesn't seem to matter how I work that. If I just reel it in slowly, I catch fish, or I reel it in fast, I catch fish. If I work it like, you know, like I would work a swim bait,
they give a lot of vibration off.
Yeah, I just seem to catch fish. No. Okay, Gary, good job, man. Let's do a podcast about that, Gary. Gary said he's going to try to do the same thing as Responsible Anglers next year on Toledo Bend. Nice. Steve, what do you mean when you say you will need several licenses because of the Indian reservations in several different states? What are you talking about, Steve? Do you need several different licenses to fish Lake St. Clair?
No, you don't. Even though there is a lot of Indian reservations on the Canadian side of Lake St. Clair, I'm sure he's going to be fishing the American waters anyways.
Yeah, I know that the Elite Series has to stay in the American waters.
Exactly, yeah. And typically he's going to be probably around anywhere from the Suffolk to the metro area. That's probably typically where they're going to be fishing.
Yeah.
There's so many spots there. You couldn't fish all that. I mean, you could, but if you wanted to fish it right, you couldn't fish all that in a month. Literally, it'd take you a month to fish all the good spots in that zone. That's where a lot of the boats are going to be, and it seems like boats are stacked up on top of each other. I've been out there perch fishing during those tournaments, during those smallmouth tournaments, and it seems like boats are crammed on top of each other, but they're really not. You get out there, and next thing you know, you're setting at your perch hole, and boats that look like they're on top of each other from shore are actually 600-800 yards apart. So they are pretty. There is some guys that get in arguments. I mean, it happens if the fishing world is stuff.
Of course,
it's rough out there, but
I've been involved in that.
Typically, they're pretty nice to each other out there, and they give each other room during those tournaments. You know, so
absolutely. Particularly by the time you get to the Elite Series time, you know, you don't want to do anything to make yourself look bad when you depend upon sponsorship dollars.
Yep, and you definitely don't want to fill them with sinkers and pliers and flayed fish and stuff like that either. You'll get caught.
Yeah, you don't want a big old sinker right there embedded in your forehead. Because I don't know about you, I can cast that good. Right.
Yeah. Did you hear about them guys that got caught cheating?
Which bellies?
The walleye, stuffing the walleye.
Oh,
yeah, they're done from all their tournaments. They went to jail. They're doing.
Yeah, they also got their boat confiscated, man. That would hurt worse than going to jail.
Look at that boat they got confiscated, right? Yeah, look at that thing, huh?
Okay, Steve said Michigan and Canadian. You know, Steve, the Elite Series doesn't let you go into Canada.
Nope, he just needs his Michigan license. That's it. And it's for a day, you said, right?
Yeah.
So it would just be a 1-day license. So that'd be not very expensive.
Yeah, you know,
$18, I think.
Tyler's going to know all that stuff when you call him.
Yeah.
After you win this thing, That's going to be awesome. You know, they're also having an event. I'm going to be going to that as a guest. But it's going to be a good time, guys. You know, it's for a great cause. We're going to restock Southern Louisiana because Southern Louisiana, the fish die they have huge fish die-offs every couple of years because either a hurricane comes in and pushes the salt water into the brackish water, which, you know, puts the salt into concentrations that bass cannot live in, or they have a drought. Then, you know, the salt water just kind of encroaches in because there's not enough fresh water pushing it out. So
that's crazy. That's crazy. I'm glad we don't have to deal with that here, man. Now, what we do have to deal with this year, the water levels are down 3 feet. So a lot of the places that we used to, like last year, we were ice fishing, getting those crappies. We were only in 3-4 foot of water. So
yeah,
they're going to be dried up. So, but there's a positive to that because the canals that are the deepest ones, that's where the fish are going to be, and they're going to be way more easy to just get in and get on them.
that is awesome. So how was did you fish steelhead?
Yeah, I do. I do fish a lot of steelhead.
How was the steelhead this year?
Oh, it was excellent. Our best day, we went out with a 5 guy. We were trolling. Went out with 5 guys. We got a 5-man limit with nice, beautiful steelhead. Just running dipsy divers and spoons behind them. And we were running John Latham custom F9 Rapalas. They were engulfing them. And it was just a blast. We were seeing fish jump. Before the rods, we could see them even pop off. You know, we were seeing fish jump both sides. I mean, we got a 5-man limit.
Wow.
We were fishing with Joey Hale. He's a hell of a fisherman.
I lived up in the last 2 years I was in the Air Force. I lived up at Worthsmith Air Force Base. Man, I had such a good time up there. You know, I got up there and people started telling me how to catch steelhead with little bitty eggs.
Yeah, we're doing that just before it froze over. Last week, doing some good steelhead action right here in Lexington Harbor, right off the beach. Using the little beads, just hammering them. Atlantis or cohos, you know. There's so much good fishing here.
Yes.
At all times. Like I can go a little bit north and I can catch steelhead and Atlantics and cohos, and I can go west. I can catch my kings. I can go just down to Lake St. Clair. Ain't far at all from here. I live right where the Blue Water Bridge is here in Port Huron, but
okay.
I live right where St. Clair River meets Lake Huron. You cannot beat that. I got the best of both worlds.
That's the Huron River.
35 minutes from everything.
I caught a lot of walleyes in the Huron River when I lived there. You're talking like 1990, though.
Oh, shoot. You catch walleyes all year in St. Clair River, all year long, and they never stop.
But you know what I caught a lot of my bigger steelhead on was sight fishing with like chartreuse rapalas.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if I could see him, if I get that rapala right in front of them,
yep,
they'd get mad.
Yeah, they're an aggressive fish. They hit anything that comes past them. If it comes past them a couple times,
they're so hard to catch. I'm like, well, put your dang fly rod away.
Yeah,
and go fish with me.
Get your casting rod out. See, razor rods. We love the razor rods. My son's a custom rod builder. He builds rods too. He has a Facebook page, Sparr Sticks Customs. He does a lot of ice fishing rods, a lot of steelhead rods for ice fishing. Line through rods for pan fishing that don't have no eyes on it, where the line just goes through the rod with a spring bobber at the end. He builds a lot of steelhead casting rods, 12-foot rods, stuff like that. But, you know, my jigging rod's still my razor rod. For walleye. Walleye jigging and casting, I use the same rod.
Okay, Thumpum Plastics is in the house.
Yep, that's the best plastics maker you can get right there. That's your pan fish and walleye plastics guy right there.
Hey Dan, come on my podcast, man. Contact me. Is Dan Gark the guy who owns it?
Yeah, he'd do a damn good podcast.
Dan, contact me. I'd like to have you on my podcast.
I
love soft plastics.
Man, and I tell you, and his soft plastics are like no other. You won't find another soft plastics like his. Not with the action, not with the durability. I mean, his plastics are absolutely And I don't just say this because he's a sponsor of mine, because I've had countless plastic sponsors, but he is the best plastic for walleye, panfish that you can get. Lake trout. I mean, he makes a 5-inch split tail.
What do you think of that? You think this would catch smallmouth bass?
I think it definitely would. Yep. Swim
Because
bait
this
there?
is made by, yeah, this is made by Matrix Shad.
Okay.
Sure, Dan. I'd love to have you on my podcast, but I've been telling this guy he ought to market this to smallmouth bass fishermen because I have used several colors like this on Green Bay.
It looks like a damn emerald china.
Yeah.
Okay, it's got a lot of color through it. So Dan actually makes a split tail bait in a 3.75 inch like that. He calls it the rainbow smelt because we got the smelt here. And with those colors and with those patriotic colors through it, man, that's a killer. It is absolutely a killer.
I bet it would be. And walleyes too. Yeah. In clear water. You know, but we use it down here where there is, we don't know what clear water is.
Right. Yeah. When we say clear water, we can see bottom in 40 foot of water.
Yeah. Just that's what I tell these guys. You know, when you go on Green Bay, if you get up there towards past Fish Creek in Green Bay, it gets difficult to fish, man. You have to cast your you have to cast your tubes, 100 feet. Then leave your bail open so it goes straight down so it doesn't pendulum back to you.
Yeah, a lot of people message me about fishing and what to do and where to go and this, that, and the other. But if I was out of state, if I went out of state, I'd be that guy. That's why I treat everybody the same. Like, I don't get angry when people message me because there's a lot of guys that just don't know. A lot of guys just getting into ice fishing. A lot of guys just getting into walleye fishing. That's what my YouTube channel is about. I like to help people out as fishing season. Like, now I'm going to start doing my weekly fishing reports as I go. I do them every year, and then I usually run right through the whole year, but I stopped and I was doing a lot of deer hunting this year. But I'm going to get back and doing the fishing reports because it helps people out. Like, if I come to your state, I'm gonna be that guy that people get mad at. But I don't get mad because a lot of people just need to know a few things to get going.
No, I'd never get mad because, like you said, I move around. I've lived in like 7 different states.
Right.
And every time, man, go to the tackle store, ask questions, get on Facebook, ask questions, watch YouTube video after YouTube for hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, there's International Freshwater Fishing Hall of Famer Jim Grant. He said you're a great valued guest.
Thank you.
And Jim Grant, man, that guy. Jim, we were just talking about you being at the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit.
That's gonna be awesome. Maybe I'll see him down there.
Do you know what Alan? I don't know how to pronounce this. Chartier,
yep.
Chartier, okay. Yep. You would think living in Southern Louisiana, I'd be able to pronounce a French word.
Yeah, me and him have been we've been doing a lot of dome management. We've been putting some deer on the ground.
There you go. I don't have time. There's only so many 365 days in a year, and I have to work still. So
right.
I trade redfish for venison burger.
There you go.
I don't kill more fish than I need. I don't have any fish in my freezer, but I have a lot of venison.
There you go.
Venison freezes a lot better than fish.
It does. And it holds up a lot longer.
And man, there is nothing better than, man, come on down here if you ever get a chance to. I'll take you fishing.
I'd love to.
But I got to warn you. I got my first redfish, and it was like fentanyl.
Never wanted to fish for anything else.
Yeah, but then of course I hooked into a speckled trout, and I told you what happened. That
right, yeah. That's just the thing, people like I do a lot of sturgeon fishing, which you've seen my pictures.
Yeah.
I love it, and I love the fight, but this last season, over 300 sturgeon were caught in my boat. I caught the personal best that I've ever caught, which I've only been sturgeon fishing for 2 years. Got the most inches in the sturgeon tournament last year. I didn't fish it this year because my boat was winterized. But I'm more into everybody else catching them. I get to go out and watching other people and kids and veterans, and I like watching those guys catch them. But I took a lot of people out and got them on their first sturgeon, and we're like, oh man, that's the best fish. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, while I'm out sturgeon fishing, this is just the mind of me. while I'm sturgeon fishing, I'm going, man, that would have been a great night to go whipping for walleyes. That's just,
Yes.
that's just how my mind goes.
So many fish, so little time.
Yes. Yes.
And a guy approached me at church a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Would you ever consider guiding me?" I'm like, "I retired from guiding, man." And he's like, "Well." I'm like, "If you will take me fishing, I will go with you."
Yeah. There
So
you go.
well, I said, "How's Saturday? How's next Saturday?" I don't have any rods. I'm like, "You, dude, I have like 28 rods,
Right.
and I just sold 10 of them."
No.
Just show up, man. Don't go out and buy tons of stuff. Just show up. I'll take you fishing. You can use my stuff, and
Yeah.
you can see how you like it, man. And we were fishing in a place that's hard to fish, but
Right.
if you know what you're doing, you can catch just giant speckled trout from the shore. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Did you have a sturgeon that jumped in your boat?
Yes. Alan Chartier, actually. Me and him were out handlining walleyes with just a handline reel, throwing walleyes.
Yeah.
And we had a sturgeon, doing just with your hand and wire. And
Yeah.
we had a sturgeon jump over. It took out his light, and it come over. Tail slapped me in the back of the head, come down, hit the side of the boat, and went back in. I was like, "What the heck was that?"
I have actually handlined. I handlined in the Illinois River when I live like 2 miles away from Bartow's Landing, which is where the first MWC of every year is held at Bartow's Landing, which is in Spring Valley, Illinois. I just live 2 miles away from that boat ramp. So as a writer, I would go out with a lot of the different pros for the week they were there practicing. And I handlined one year when it was flooding real bad. And I mean, we caught fish when people who were jigging just were not catching fish. We were catching fish in chocolate milk. I couldn't believe that.
Walleyes is a meat. It's a meat game. You put a lot of walleyes up real fast.
That's boy, so much stuff to talk about with you.
I could talk about that.
Yeah, well, that's why this show is called "Let's Talk Fishing" because I get to talking about fishing. It takes me hours to calm down to go to sleep.
Right.
Okay, something that not everybody talks about: Lake St. Clair crappies.
Yes.
When is the best time of the year to fish for the crappies on Lake St. Clair?
Right now, all through rice season, and then right here in April. April's a good month to hammer on them in spring.
I seem to remember. I don't remember what. Yeah, it was early spring when I lived at Selfridge. We went right over there to there was a canal that's right in front of the base where there was a boat ramp. And I mean, we just hammered it in between boats. We just hammered crappies.
Oh yeah, that canal system still loads up.
Oh boy.
I mean, loads up.
And that's just, guys. I'm not exaggerating when I say 200 crappies a day per person.
Yeah.
As fast as you can get your line back in the water. You don't want to use minnows. Heck no, man. That's too slow.
Yes. Thump them soft plastics, man. They're just.
Yeah. And back in the 80s, I mean, I used pinky jigs,
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a long time. Jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't have any kids. I wasn't even married. Wow. That's a long time ago. I didn't even have any college degrees. Wow.
Right.
Air traffic controller making $9,000 a year. And you've seen the flying that goes on at Selfridge.
Oh yeah.
Imagine being a tower controller making $9,000 a year. Wow.
It
blows my mind when I think about it now.
Back then, that's good money though.
What's that?
$9,000 a year, you said?
Yeah.
That's not bad money back then, right?
Well, when your housing's paid for and they give you extra money for food in your check, yeah, you can live on that because your housing's paid for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I used to ride my bike to the control tower. I didn't even have to take my truck,
Right. And then you got the fish inside the bait, man. You got the fish stuff that, like back then, I don't know how it was, but now them canals you're talking about, but the ones that go, I should say the ones that go into the base, you're not allowed in there, not even from the ice. only if you work at Selfridge.
Oh yeah, I worked at Selfridge. I
Yep.
lived on Selfridge, so
You'd
yeah, I
still,
was able to.
even
I
when
was
you
able to,
live in Michigan, you'd still be allowed in there.
and actually they had a little marina there that rented boats, and I would go out there in their 16-foot Lunds with a 25 horse on the back.
Yeah.
Then I found out why they have kill switches.
Yeah.
I was out there by myself in 4-footers,
Oh,
just slamming the smallmouth bass every time I catch. You know, when I got to Selfridge, I had two. What the heck are lipless crankbaits? Rattle traps. I
yeah.
had two. And one time I got it snagged, so I tied myself off to the boat and went swimming.
Oh man. Oh man. You wanted that bait bad, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course, it never occurred to me. You know what? If you didn't drink 2 cases of beer a week, you could do more fishing.
Yeah.
I had to be 18 again, huh?
Right.
Life just wasn't that complicated back then.
Right.
But yeah, I got to go fishing. Then they transferred me up to Wordsmith, and I did my happy dance for 3 months, man. I got up there and saw smallmouth bass in little creeks hooked up with Lake Huron that were.
Yeah.
And I never took pictures. I didn't have a camera.
Right. Right.
And I had a little 5-foot long ugly stick light with blue Kmart line.
Remember that.
The only time I ever responded when the line got so depleted that I could barely cast.
Yeah.
And it always had those kinks in it. And
oh yeah.
but I caught huge steelhead on that, huge smallmouth, big walleyes.
Yeah.
I remember one time casting off the pier at night when the smelt were running and catching 8-pound walleyes one after another.
Oh yes. Yep, I remember those days too. We still get occasional nights where we get big ones, but we don't get them consistently like we used to because the alewife population then died off.
Are the smelts still in Huron?
Not even close to what they used to be. They still do run, but not close to what they used to. We used to be able to fill garbage pails up. Now you spend all night to get a dozen or two.
Yeah. I remember going out there with a friend and just dipping 5-gallon buckets full. Then one of my buddies came up to me with a fucking. Geez, I just said that, didn't I?
It's okay.
A guy came up to me with like a 20. It was like close to 30-inch walleye, man, and I looked at my buddy. I'm not smelt dipping anymore. I'm going back to my truck and getting my rod.
Right. Yeah.
If there are walleyes in
here, my biggest walleye right here, I caught it. I mean, walking distance from my house. It's 12.5 pounds. So
was that 34 inches long?
It was 35 inches long. Yeah, I caught it I caught it casting on a 1/4-ounce jig head with an old ribbon tail 6-inch chartreuse twister.
You know, I caught a 34-inch in Van Etten Lake, which is right across the street from Wordsmith Air Force Base. You know, it goes the Osaba River, Van Etten Creek, and then they dam it up to make Van Etten Lake.
Yep. And
I hooked into something. I was fishing with an old man who lived right on Van Etten Lake, and I'm like, I have a big pike. He looked over the side and he goes, "No, don't get yourself all worked up there, kid. Yeah, it's not a pike." I'm like, what is it? What is it? What is it? I said, if this is a catfish, I'm going to spit.
Right.
Not a catfish, kid. Just relax. And he got out his net, and it was a 34-inch walleye. Oh my God!
What was he? Right about 12-pounder?
We didn't weigh it. I told you, I was I was getting out of the service, so I was 22.
Right.
And I was getting out of service in a couple of days, and so I just released it.
Yeah.
We measured it. We didn't wait. And if I ever lose that enthusiasm, I'm going to quit fishing because it's just too much work.
Right.
But I haven't. When the shad ran, oh man, running along bombers, big 8 to 9 pound walleyes.
Yeah.
You guys are making me want to move back up north.
That's a great fish. Like I said, we've got it made for fishing, and hunting. That's why I just love living where I do. I go 5 minutes northwest of my house. I'm hunting. I go 5 minutes right off the fence. I don't. Matter of fact, I can go right behind my house. The fence is 10 yards behind the house. Jump the fence, go down to the creek, and catch pike and smallmouth all summer long.
That is so cool.
Right here. I mean, right out this window, you see right here.
Northern pike, man. That's wow. What a
big
great fish.
52
I was
inches.
talking a 52 incher.
And then a 49.
That's
49 right after.
You know, when I went up to Alaska in a fly-in trip, an hour north of Fairbanks, the biggest one we caught was 48. No, I caught a 48, and one of my buddies caught a 48 and a quarter.
Yeah.
So, you know, 5 guys, everybody puts in $100. The biggest fish takes all. I didn't win. I didn't win the $500 with a 48 incher. But
right.
52, that's ridiculous, man.
52 and a 49 back to back.
52.
In the spring, though, in April, it's a creek system that runs off into a canal that runs from Black River into Lake Huron. And in the spring, they come up here to spawn them pike. And you can go down there. It's only 3 to 4 foot deep. Some spots, it's only ankle deep where they go through the rapids and they'll set in them pools. When it's sunny out, you can go there and look, and you stand on top of the bank and look down, and you can see those giants just sitting under the weeds, just monsters. Sight fishing monster pike in shallow water, you know. I should make a YouTube video of that.
You should.
I should.
Well, but don't tell everybody because...
Yeah, I know I'll be doing it. And then we also...
you know how I used to catch those things in the springtime? It's just with dead smelt or even dead shad, you know.
Yeah.
In those places, just like you're talking about, you know, in a bay that's only like 2 feet deep.
That's where I went on a fly-in fishing trip into Wawa, Ontario with my grandpa when I was young, and we caught a lot of pike. We caught a ton of pike, but not the class of pike. And we were fishing 40, 50 foot of water on these big inland lakes. You know, or I should just say big water. I mean, they call them inland lakes. They're huge. It's huge. You couldn't see both sides where we're at. And then I come back here in a 3 foot deep creek and sight fish and catch the biggest pike I ever caught in my life, you know. And you can catch constant 35, 36 inches all day long.
So you caught a pike up there bigger than 52.
No, my biggest was here.
Dude.
No, I didn't. No, the biggest on that trip. Actually, we caught a tiger. I caught a tiger muskie. Was the biggest fish we caught that day, and it was 49 and a half. And then the biggest pike was like 47.
Yeah.
But we had a blast doing it. It was a fun time because we caught so many walleye and so many pike and so many muskie. And then we got into perch. It was crazy. You know, it was a crazy flying fishing trip. It was a great time with Grandpa.
That would be great, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. You know, a 52 incher, I don't even hear about muskies that big. You know?
Yeah, there's some monster. My son come running in last year. He come running in door and said, "Dad, there's a pike in the creek and it's bigger than the one you caught. And I ain't kidding you." And I said, "I've never seen a pike that big. You're full of it, you know." And he goes, come on. And then my stepson's going, "No, he's being serious. It's huge." And there's a culvert. And I went down there, I looked in the culvert, and it literally, it scared me. I looked down, and it scared me. That's how big this was. I said, holy. So I run home to grab the rod. They've been fishing this fish all day. I said, I'm going to catch this fish on these kids. I cast it in there. As soon as my frog hit the water, that pike turned and was gone. I was like, oh. So I scared their fish. They fished for all day. But it wasn't biting. They wanted me to say, I don't know how long it was, but I'm telling you, I'm going to be under. I'm going to go under and say it was 55 to 56 inches.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, in the few minutes we have left, why don't you tell people about your giveaways on Sparr's Outdoors?
So every Saturday I go live at 9 o'clock. It'll change as different. It'll be 7 o'clock later on as the walleyes and stuff start biting and I'm out walleye fishing. I go live every Saturday. I do giveaways. All you got to do is be subscribed to my YouTube channel, Sparr's Outdoors. Be entered in the giveaway, and you got to say a comment to let me know you're there. You got to be You got to be on the live to win. You can always get extra spots on my giveaways by making a donation back to the channel with a super chat. Don't matter, whatever you want to donate or PayPal or something like that. You can get extra spots in my giveaways. But my giveaways are always great. I don't just give away. You've seen some of my giveaways. I give away.
Yes.
I give away a lot of good stuff. A lot. Usually it's typically around $100 to $300 worth of fishing or hunting items every Saturday. So sometimes more. Like my Christmas giveaways are probably close to $1,000. I do a Christmas giveaway every year.
Dang.
Yeah, so, and I'm a small YouTuber. I don't have many subscribers. The more subscribers I get, like when I get to 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a John boat. When I get to 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away my boat. So that's how that's going to go. So
Your boat?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get into that giveaway.
Yeah.
But first of all, I'm going to make you take me fishing in it.
Yes, we got to get out fish. You got to get here, man. We got to have some fun.
Yeah. 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 That's all I can say to that.
Yeah. It says, we can go get our limit of perch, our limit of crappies. Then we'll go get our limit of walleyes. And then what the hell, at nighttime we might as well go catch a sturgeon.
With that, man, I want to go for a 55-inch pike, like you said.
Yeah, or we could just go behind our house and catch pike all April.
Yeah.
And the steelhead run right there.
Hold up like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm smiling.
Got to get a butt board to make everybody know it's legit, because you get the guys in there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were holding it way up. No, you cannot hold a 40-pound pike way out like this.
Right, no, not at all. Not even close.
No, that's why when you see pictures of me with fish, I have the fish right up against my chest. Hey, look, guys.
Absolutely.
Okay, Brenton, his YouTube channel is at the bottom, scrolling across. It's called Sparr's Outdoors, SPARRS Outdoors. You can see it as it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Yeah, tune into that 9 o'clock, and that's AM, correct?
PM.
PM. Okay, yep. 9 o'clock PM.
Saturday night.
9 o'clock PM.
Every Saturday.
Sparr's Outdoors every Saturday.
Yep.
Brenton's a great friend of Let's Talk Fishing. He tunes in every single. Actually, Brenton even tunes in to when I go live on TikTok.
Oh, that's nice.
It's another way that I promote my advertisers.
I've never had a TikTok. I heard I'd get a lot of YouTube subscribers if I got a TikTok, but I don't have a TikTok.
Actually, I do get a lot of subscribers through TikTok. It's called Let's Talk Fishing,
Yeah, obviously. I love your podcast. We have a great time every time, man. I love it.
We do, man. That's why I say, I can't see doing less than 50 minutes with you.
Right.
We're gonna have to.
We could stay here and talk till morning. There's so many fish we could cover. And I got a seminar coming up here. I'm doing a seminar at Jay's Marine Hardware, and I'm doing it. It's all on ice fishing and ice safety. We've had 3 people so far go out on the ice and not make it back.
Oh, good. This year alone?
Yeah.
Oh, I was so stupid when I was young and living there. We used to go ice fishing at night, just me and my buddy.
Yeah.
and just walk, the spud bar.
Yeah. Yeah. And all it takes is one gas pocket or somebody's old shanty hole. But the ice just become what I call safe. It's about 4 inches now. That's safe to walk on to me. They say 4-wheeler 4 inches. No, I say 4-wheeler better be 8 inches. But because there's so many soft spots, people don't realize that. You get a gas pocket, or.
Actually, guys, I want to tell you something that happened to me when I was living at Wordsmith Air Force Base. It was Tawas, Michigan. They were having their annual ice festival, and my buddy and I were driving his truck out to the. We were driving out to the Perch Derby on an ice road. There were probably 100 vehicles out there at the Perch Derby. And we went up and we could see, a pressure ridge.
Yeah.
And I said, around that pressure ridge. He goes, "Oh man, this is an ice road." He went right up, and on the other side, he broke through, and we're stuck like this on the ice.
Oh.
And we jumped out the back. He had a sliding rear window, and we jumped out the back, and he got a new truck out of the deal. But man, Well,
Uh,
it was during an ice festival, you know.
we've seen trucks go under so many times, and we've seen and it's sad to say, but these people go out on the ice, and I'm everybody that's on here is going to say, well, he's talking, but he's did it himself. Yeah, I used to be that guy. I want to be on the first ice, and last year I was the last guy on the ice. Fell through after I shouldn't have been on the ice. But this year I played it safe. Promised my wife, and that's how I'm going to play it from now on. I don't want to fall through no more. I do got a float suit, that, but
It's really hard to fish in a float suit.
it is.
But I've fallen through several times.
Yeah, I don't want to fall through.
It's never pleasant. You got to have the pixel life, you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And another time when I fell in, there was a guy there who had a rope bag, pulled me
Yes.
out.
Yeah,
And that's why I said I was so stupid when I was young, going out with me and another guy at night.
yeah,
Go
that's
out,
not
go out
smart.
during the day, guys, when there's hundreds of people on the ice. Because then if you fall in, get yourself. Man, nowadays I would carry flares and.
Oh yeah, you got to go out prepared. Typically, I go with 3, 4 guys every time I go. Sometimes I go alone, but typically I go with 3, 4 guys every time I go. And when I do go, I go somewhere where I've already got buddies that are there fishing. So I always like to play it safe.
I'd like to catch up on a couple of these comments from the audience. Responsible Anglers United says he was texting with Steve. They just got a trip with Levi Thibodeau on Toledo Bend donated. We're really getting a lot of traction here, guys, from Responsible Anglers United. Gary Bourne Jr. says that the Thin Line Fishing League is 9 days out in their first tournament on Toledo Bend. Thin Line Fishing is a veteran-owned, veteran-run organization.
That's awesome.
And they benefit veterans. Responsible Anglers United that's down here where I live, actually more towards New Orleans from where I am, but they just got another guide trip donated. We're going to be raising a lot of money there, and I'm very proud to be part of that. Before we end, of course, I'm going to give you a couple more minutes, but I'd like to talk again about Responsible Anglers United, guys. Responsible Anglers United, Tyler Rivette has donated a fishing trip on Lake St. Clair. It's going to be right after the event. Geez, I'm sorry. So many people are texting me. It's kind of lost my train of thought there. I can go all day long without getting texted. Then all of a sudden I podcast and I get 50 of them. Right. But anyway, Responsible Anglers United, Tyler Rivette's going to be donating a fishing trip on Lake St. Clair right after the Elite Series event. All expenses paid. They're going to fly you in there, fly you out of there, and take you fishing. And Tyler Rivette, Elite Series angler, he's going to catch fish there.
Oh yeah.
He's going. I mean, it's Lake St. Clair, and he's a freaking professional. You can truly call him a professional bass fisherman because he's an Elite Series angler. Also, Thin Line Fishing League is 9 days out of their first tournament on Toledo Bend. Toledo Bend is the land of giants, kind of like where you live, only with largemouth bass.
Right.
But anything else you'd like to talk about, dude?
No, I'm good, man. It's been fun.
It has been fun. And guys, man, this has been a great podcast. I bet you I had 70, 80 comments. Responsible Anglers came by. Jim Grant came by. Gary Bourne. Man, all kinds of cool. Brenton. Shawn Sparr.
Yeah.
And, I'm kind of your counterpart from the Southern style.
Right.
So anyways, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into Let's Talk Fishing podcast. I'm Jay Angel. You know what, guys? It's Wednesday and it's cold. It's even cold down here, man. It was 26 degrees when I woke up, and people die when it gets 26 degrees down here. just like people die when it gets 95 degrees. Well, people die when it gets 95 degrees up there where you live,
Yes.
And we put up with that for half the year. But anyways, Get out there and go fishing, man. Because remember, in those days, you're not gonna sit there and talk with your wife when you're down on your deathbed about how much fun you had watching Breaking Bad. You're just not. And Brenton said, "I've always said there's no such thing as safe ice, but you can be safe on the ice." Brenton, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. I like that. That's a great way to put that. But anyways, Been great podcast. Thank you, Alan. Woo! They need to have one more podcast about the St. Lawrence River. I agree. I have actually talked about that with some of my Elite Series friends.
Yeah.
St. Lawrence River, that's like fishing in deep water that's moving fast.
Yeah.
If Lake St. Clair moved like that, yeah, call me tomorrow, Gary. But anyways, with that, I'm going to end the podcast. Stick around, Shawn. I'd like to talk to you for a couple minutes afterwards.
Okay.